I'm guessing, I hope I'm wrong on this number, but I'm guessing it may actually hit in the high hundreds, if not thousands of people in this state, and I'm assuming it's going on in other parts of the country as well. Give you an example by anecdote. A woman works at Northwest Airlines, gets laid off. She's got 2 kids. Owns a home in South Minneapolis. Hennepin County has a tax assessed value of $165,000 on it, and she's got a mortgage of $99,000, but she can't afford the mortgage payment because she's been laid off. She's got about $700 a month take home right now with everything coming in, but that doesn't do it. She falls behind, goes into foreclosure, and finds out she gets inundated when she goes into foreclosure from all sorts of rescue artists, these scam artists. They're going to rescue you from your mortgage foreclosure. And in her case, she had, I can't remember, that was Grant, I think, wasn't it? Grant shows up at the door, and they gain the trust of these people, and basically tell them, listen, I've got lenders who can get you money, I've got people who can buy your home, I've got people who, you can stay here, I can make sure that you're staying in this house, just trust me. And the one thing you'll find when people, when they're in foreclosure, when the debts start piling up, one of the things they do is they don't open their mail. Because all it's got is bad news. And you're looking for anybody to trust. You know, think of the fires in California. People very wealthy, living those big homes, and the fires that are coming, they'd have police order them out. They wouldn't leave. Same thing with a mortgage foreclosure. It's everything they've got. The American dream, most equity, the most value that most people ever have. And this has happened. I think Grant's done it to about at least 250 people. And when this lady goes in and gets her convinced, oh, you don't have to move, you don't have to do anything, just trust me, and he strings it right out until the last day of the redemption. I'll even set up a closing. And then the last month before the redemption period's over, before she's going to get evicted, they sit down and he says, you know, tried to find a lender, tried to find something here for you, but I couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it for you. And I've got only one alternative to give you. You can still stay here. Just give me the deed. I'll give you a lease back. They do it. I'll even let you buy it back and, you know, give me an option to buy in 2 years. Might have to pay $20,000 extra, but you get that option. So she signs over the deed. She's desperate. She can't afford a lawyer or anybody else. She signs the deed. She's still in the house. She's happy. A month later, she gets a lease from Mr. Grant. It's for $1,100 a month. She gets $700, I told you. It's about $300 more than what the mortgage payment was. $1,100 a month. Month and a half later, he evicts her. She goes to the eviction proceeding. I think she did have some help at that point. But she signs an agreement with him that she can stay there for another month. But then this guy gets to buy all of her personal property for $100 if he has to evict her again. Another month goes by, $1,100 payment not made. She gets evicted. He's throwing her pictures. Remember these 2 kids? Throwing them all. The neighbors got a videotape of them throwing everything out. Didn't even care. They wasn't even using them. Just wanted to throw them away. This has happened to people. Some of them are homeless because of this. Now, I wouldn't have known about this but for ACORN. And I can guarantee you, even if I had known about it without ACORN, we wouldn't have had the people, the witnesses, the victims, the knowledge of what to do. And they came, they had a big community meeting in St. Paul. A number of legislators who are here tonight were at that meeting. Very moving testimony given. Great organizing, great outreach, teaching people about this, trying to help them through it. And I think we've had 3 suits so far. Grant, the judge is now ordered. He can't even file documents, buying property, selling property. He can't evict anybody. He can't do anything right now.
All right.
Over here. There's about 20 others that we're aware of that are out there doing this. One of them happens to be the treasurer for the governor's campaign committee. Go figure. How can that happen? You know, why would you pray? How low can you get as a society to pray on people at their most desperate time? Why would you do that? And yet they do that, and they don't care. In fact, even one of them, he evicted her. The family, in fact, it was a sergeant from, just got discharged. From our armed forces. They left the home. They apply for a apartment, and of course the landlord contacts Grant to ask him, are they good on their credit? He said, absolutely not. I wouldn't give them an apartment. He just got it rubbed in. There's a guy with 4 kids. ACORN stands up for people. They're advocates. And they work with these people, and they're fighters. They don't back down. They represent the underdog. And I really do love the fact that they do scare the hell out of not only banks and institutions, but a lot of politicians as well. Come on up here.
I am the board chair of Minnesota ACORN. We are an organization that's about 23 years old here in Minnesota. Is there anybody out there that doesn't know ACORN? Okay, that's what I thought. And so we're an organization, we, so like we've been so well introduced by Attorney General Hatch. We are an organization that does use a variety of tactics to make sure that our targets know that we mean business and that we are bringing that issue to them that is of the utmost importance. We are an organization that works for the low income and moderate income people in Minnesota. We are also a national organization that's some 30 years old. And we make sure that the issues that the low and moderate income people have to deal with in their lives are taken care of. We are a membership-driven organization. Our issues come from our members, and we take that forward. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to another one of our members to talk to you about ACORN.
I just have a few things to say here. But first, I'd like to thank MAPA for organizing this great event. Sometimes when you're so busy doing the work that we do, you sometimes forget to stop and smell the roses, as they say. And you know how important that is, because you get your energy from having wonderful people like this that you know are around to help. And a good example of that is today many of my staff were working, and their plane didn't make it here in time, and that's really too bad, because I was really considering giving them their night off. But the rest of us are in the house, and we're really happy to be here. And also, I'd like to mention that I've been doing this for a long time, and for as long as I can remember, there's been someone there right there with us in the streets and helping us out in any way that they can. And although we don't do this for the awards, we don't do this for all the accolades, I must admit that it really is very rewarding to have people like you recognize what we do. And I also have to admit that is personally, and I know for the rest of the members, we are so happy and so honored to have this award presented by the best Attorney General in the whole darn country. You know, we were fortunate enough to have this award presented back in 1991 for our work around first-time home buyers ownership. Since then, we've put about 1,300 people just in the state of Minnesota in homes. And for many of them, that was something they never thought they would be able to do. And now here we are, being recognized for our work around predatory lending. Didn't know we'd be doing this work, but when you work as hard as we work to put people in homes, we just could not stand idly by. And as you can see, that's not our nature. We just could not stand idly by and watch it happen. And so we did what we knew how to do best, and that's take it to the streets.
Right.
This month marks the culmination of a campaign that we've been waging for about 3 years with Household. Last year, the State Attorney General reached a settlement where Household would pay almost $500 million in restitution to its victims. And this month, just in time for Christmas, people were receiving their checks. And who said there isn't a Santa Claus? Now, no disrespect to Kris Kringle, but for about 3,000 Minnesota families, Santa Claus looks a lot like Mike Hatch. This month, we also announced ACORN settlement with household about a separate class action lawsuit that we filed. This settlement will cost household another $100 million and builds on the Attorney General's settlement. The most important feature of this settlement is that families who have had their mortgages raised to the point of being unaffordable will have them lowered, the interest rates lowered again until they now become affordable again, and will be able to stay in their homes. And we're so proud of that. And I'd just like to end by thanking everybody for sticking there with us. And we promise to be there. If there's a fight that needs to be waged, you'll find ACORN. Thank you very much.
Yeah!
Thank you very much. My name is Paul Cetriano, and I am chairman of the Predatory Lending Committee. But I am also a victim, along with my wife and many other families. And as Mike had said, about 3,000. There's a lot more than that. And at first, when we first met 3 years ago in a little room in the ACORN office with representatives from ACORN, they asked us, in fact, Alden Bennett was the one that asked us, what do you want out of this? And all we could tell them is, we want justice for everybody, but what we don't want is somebody behind us getting the same treatment that we did. We got treated by bloodsuckers, and that's an easy term, because there's women here, I gotta say bloodsucker. And that's what they are. So we did an action. We did an action on their office in downtown St. Paul. While some of us were doing that, some of us were meeting with the Commissioner of Banks. Then I went to Washington and I testified before them. And while I was in Washington, the commissioner was meeting with some people from household. And one of the officers from household told them, hey, if they believe the BS we feed them in these loans, they deserve them. And he said, that's it. And he got a hold of Mike Hatch. So since then, we did a lot of stuff.